Mornings in Başak and Baran's neighborhood usually began with the same sounds. First the gulls called from far away, then school buses rolled through the street, and last of all, the clock tower in the square played a short melody. But that morning, at the breakfast table, Başak's mind was somewhere else. She fixed her turquoise star hair clip twice. That always meant she had sensed something.
Başak, you should eat your bread before it gets cold. Adventures are harder to solve on an empty stomach.
Mom, the air feels different today. As if the whole neighborhood is holding its breath.
If the neighborhood is holding its breath, someone should make it breakfast first. In this house, every solution starts at the table.
When you pass through the square, pay attention to the clock tower. That tower has an old habit. Sometimes it asks children questions.
Grandma, if the tower asks a question, does it also give us an answer sheet? Or is it an oral exam?
An oral exam, Baran. But if anyone tries to copy, it catches them with a bell.
Başak smiled. Baran turned the amber compass bracelet on his wrist. They both thought the same thing. Today would not be an ordinary day. On the way to school, when they reached the neighborhood square, the melody they expected did not play. The clock tower was silent. Too silent.
Baran, did you hear that? I mean, did you not hear that?
I heard the thing that was not heard. The tower has gone quiet today.
Maybe it is broken.
It does not feel broken. It feels as if someone has hidden a melody.
On the wooden door of the tower, there was a small note. It had only 3 words on it. Find the first sound.
This is a clue. A real clue.
If it is a real clue, it can wait until after school. Even the math test was not this mysterious.
After school, when Başak and Baran returned to the square, Aris and Buse were already beside the tower. Aris had his skateboard tucked under one arm, and Buse was taking a photo of the door with her phone.
I pushed the door, pulled it, and looked at it sideways. It did not open. So the scientific method is complete.
That is not the scientific method, Aris. That is the impatience method. Look, there is a tiny mark beside the door.
This is not a normal scratch. It looks like an old map symbol.
It might connect with the faded lines on the board.
Başak took a transparent sheet from her notebook and placed it over the rusty board. Baran turned his bracelet to catch the sunlight at just the right angle.
Something is appearing. No, for things are appearing.
A star. A compass. A leaf. A musical note. For symbols, 4 clues.
The first symbol is the star. That is my area.
I am also a star, but in skateboarding.
Aris, last week you crashed into a trash can.
That was not a crash. It was a sudden introduction to a trash can.
The star symbol led them to the big plane tree in the school garden. Between the roots, there was a small metal box half buried in the soil.
There is writing on the box. A leaf does not speak, but it remembers the wind.
A leaf that remembers the wind. This tower really loves riddles.
Başak opened the box. Inside was a thin wooden piece with tiny holes in it.
It looks like part of a flute. But it cannot make sound by itself.
Then we found one piece of the melody.
The second symbol was the compass. When Baran turned his bracelet, sunlight hit the lower corner of the board. A thin line stretched toward the old bookshop.
I knew you would come.
I knew my future too, but my mom said first put on your jacket.
Children, the clock tower's melody sometimes hides itself because it wants people to remember it again.
The bookseller handed them an old photograph. In the photo, children from many years ago stood in front of the clock tower.
There is a sentence on the back of the photo.
The melody was not lost. It was split into pieces.
So to make the tower work, we have to find the pieces of the melody.
Just then, Ella, Taha, Aika, and Tarek came from the park toward the square. Taha was holding his binoculars up in the air.
There is a leaf symbol on the park gate. Also, everything looks more important through binoculars.
A minute ago you looked at your own shoe through them.
Because my shoelace was in a strategic position.
When they reached the park gate, they saw that a small street cat had a thin string tangled around its paw. The cat was scared, but not hurt.
Let us not rush. We should soften our voices.
All right, little friend. We are here. You will feel better in a moment.
Başak gently untangled the string. Baran spoke softly beside the cat. When the cat was free, it touched a tiny compartment under the iron gate with its paw.
It opened. The cat is a secret door expert.
I think it was just saying thank you.
Inside the compartment was the second wooden piece. Only the musical note symbol remained. But the note was nowhere. Not on the tower door, not on the board, not in the park, and not in the photograph.
Maybe the note is very good at hide and seek.
Or maybe we are looking in the wrong place.
What did the first clue say? Find the first sound. Maybe the note is not an object. Maybe it is a sound someone remembers.
Then we will ask everyone.
As the sun slowly lowered, neighbors, family elders, and children gathered in the square. The clock tower was still silent.
Does anyone remember the old melody of this tower?
I remember the first sound. But let me warn you, my whistle is a little crooked.
Murat, it is not your whistle that is crooked. It is your confidence.
That is fine. Confidence can keep rhythm too.
Uncle Murat gave a thin whistle. The wooden piece in Baran's hand trembled slightly.
I think the second sound went like this.
And the third sound came right after it.
Yes. When we heard that sound as children, everyone looked out the window.
I looked at the pretzel cellar, not the window. But I remember the melody too.
The chorus was a little softer.
And at the end, there were two small bell sounds.
Whistles, hums, claps, and foot rhythms joined together in the square. The lost note was not in one place. It was in everyone's memory. Başak and Baran joined the two wooden pieces together. They turned into the shape of a small key.
There is a musical note symbol on the tip of the key.
Then the tower's answer is ready.
The tower door opened. Inside were old gears, tiny bells, and a dusty mechanism. Başak placed the key where it belonged. For 1 second, nothing happened. Then the tower trembled gently. The gears turned. The bells shimmered. And the clock tower began to play again.
We did it. And we did not even break the door.
I was already saving breaking the door as the last option. The very last. Almost never.
I think the best thing you did today was listen to one another.
And not giving up despite Uncle Murat's whistle.
I add character to that whistle.
At that very moment, a small drawer inside the tower opened. A folded old map came out. On the map, the old harbor was marked.
This symbol, it is